Hey guys, today's video is going to be all about the most giftable palettes I feel like for Christmas 2018. So I don't know about you guys, but when I give people makeup, I usually look for palettes to give them, probably because that's my favorite thing to receive. But eyeshadow is just, I feel like eyeshadow is something that I always ask for Christmas, so I feel like others would like eyeshadow for Christmas too. Now I have a wide range of shades, color families, and price ranges in here. So if you guys want to know my top picks for giftable palettes of 2018, just keep watching. So guys, I have a stack of about probably 10 palettes here, so I'm not going to swatch out every single shade and every single palette, but I will do kind of like a sampling of swatches on the back of my hand so you guys can get a feel for the colors. So without further ado, let's hop into the palettes. So the first one is going to be the Colourpop Give It To Me Straight palette. This is just a beautiful neutral palette with a bit of a purple twist. I feel like purple is such a hot trend right now that this is just a beautiful, like, warm neutrally purple palette. It kind of reminds me a bit of Modern Renaissance, which I will mention later. But it is just, it's so stunning. I love the formula on this palette. Colourpop's formula in general is usually absolutely amazing. I will be mentioning a couple other Colourpop palettes throughout this video, but this one is just, I mean, it's still, I feel like this palette is still neutral enough to where if you are a neutral lover, you're still going to find some shades that you like in this, but it's also a little bit purpley, a little bit plummy, a little bit berry, so it does help you kind of step outside of your comfort zone just a little bit. And here are some swatches from that palette. Ooh, so pretty. I love this palette so much. And this palette retails for $16, so this is a great budget option if you're not looking to spend a ton, but you do want to get your loved one or your friend or whoever some really great eyeshadow. This is an amazing option. The next palette I want to mention is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. So I did want to specifically mention this one because it will be on sale December 1st at Ulta for $27, which is half off. And I just got this palette last year for Christmas, so I've had it for about a year now. But I love this palette so much, you guys. Yes, it's warm neutrals. Yes, the looks all come out kind of orangey, smoldery, just warm goodness, but I honestly don't mind that. I love warm neutrals. If you have a warm neutral love in your life, get them this palette. If you want to splurge a little bit, it is $54 originally, I think, when it's not on sale, but if you want to splurge and get them something a little more high-end, this is a beautiful palette. The formula on these shadows is just wonderful. I also really love this palette because I feel like I can literally just go down the line and create a look. Like, especially with the mattes, I just keep building and adding and building and adding in my crease. And here are some of those shades. Oh, you guys. Warm neutrals do something to me. Oh, so pretty. This is a beautiful palette. Like I said, if you want to spoil someone in your life that loves warm neutrals, get this one for them. And again, it is on sale at Ulta for $27 on December 1st. So the next palette I want to talk about, I feel like appeals to color lovers and warm neutral or just neutral eyeshadow lovers. That is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. This palette has one of the best mixes, I would say, of neutrals and more colorful shades. It has a really nice ratio of mattes and shimmers. It has really beautiful matte pops of color, like this beautiful, like, bright hot pink, the orange, the purple, the beautiful teal. Also has some really shimmery shades. This lime one, I swatched that one. It is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite shades in this entire palette. But this palette is also very safe. It does have those kind of staple colors, the matte warm brown, a matte deep brown, a gold, a bronze, kind of a light champagne-y shade. It is just, I feel like it's the perfect introduction to color for someone who is normally a neutral eyeshadow wearer. And I believe this one retails for $18. I know it was on sale at Ulta over Cyber Monday, Black Friday weekend, but I'm sure BH Cosmetics will have another sale, and this will once again be reduced because they are constantly having sales. But this is a beautiful palette to gift. I forgot to show you guys swatches. So here's some swatches on the back of my hand. These are beautiful shadows. This next palette I want to talk about is definitely an oldie but a goodie, and it is ABH Modern Renaissance. This is just such a classic palette at this point. I know a lot of people do own this palette, but if you know someone or are buying gifts for someone who is new to makeup or who just doesn't have a large makeup collection, this is an amazing gift for them. I believe maybe this was on sale over Cyber Monday weekend, which is irrelevant now, but this is just a beautiful warm neutral palette. ABH shadows are some of my favorite to work with. The mattes blend so effortlessly, and the shimmers are very metallic and intense, and they're just really easy to work with shadows. That's why I said this would be especially great for beginner or just someone who loves warm neutrals. I know a lot of people are over it, but I love warm neutrals, and I know there's still some of you out there that still love them too. So this is another great buy, and this retails for $42 normally. The next palette I want to touch on is the Colourpop Dream Street palette. Now this was a collaboration with Kathleen Lights that they did last year, I think. And I just think this is one of the most like well curated palettes. You can create a really wide variety of looks with this palette. It does have, again, the staples, a nice transition shade, mid-tone brown, kind of a little bit of a more orangey mid-tone brown, and then of course your deep plummy brown. But it does take you in a bit of a warmer direction, but I think you can do a lot with this palette still, because you do get those blues, and this shade is so interesting. It's like a champagne-y blue shade. I swatched it on the back of my hand. I'll show you guys in a second. But this palette, once again, retails for $16, so it's a great affordable budget option for you. But once again, Colourpop shadows are some of my favorite. I'm going to be a broken record when I'm talking about Colourpop palettes because they are just so good. And I think this is just a really fun palette. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend this one for beginners because I feel like the color combos aren't quite as easy to spot other than like neutrals right here. And I mean, I guess you could pair the blues together, but this one I would not highly recommend for a beginner. But if you have someone who just loves makeup in your life, this would definitely be a great purchase for them. And here's some swatches. Here's that shade Kaleidoscope. I don't know if my camera's gonna actually pick it up, but it has kind of this blue undertone to it. It's so beautiful on the eyes. It pairs so beautifully with those other blues in that palette. There's also this shade Spark, Water Bearer, and Twinkle. Twinkle is my favorite shade in that palette because it is so metallic and intense. I love it. The next palette I want to mention is another really great budget option, and that's the Milani Pure Passions palette. The packaging is gorgeous on this. It's this beautiful like gold mirrored packaging, but it blinds you guys in the camera, so I'm not going to show you that too much. But here's what the inside looks like. Once again, it's a warm neutral palette. This is also a really great budget option. This is under $15, I believe, at Walmart. It's just a collection of really nice, everyday, basic, staple, warm neutrals. So if you're just looking to give someone makeup and maybe they're not super crazy about makeup, this would be a great item to give them. Or if they have to work in an office setting most of their time, I feel like you couldn't really create a look with this palette that wouldn't be office appropriate. So this is just a really great, basic, neutral palette. And then here are some swatches. These shadows are so beautiful. The mattes are so beautifully pigmented and they blend out effortlessly. The shimmers are not as intense as some of the other shimmers in my collection, but they're definitely easy to work with, and if you wanted to amp them up a bit, you just have to wet your brush or use like a tacky primer underneath. This next palette is once again great for someone who loves colors and who also loves neutrals, and that is the Juvia's Place Mini Masquerade palette. So Juvia's Place is now being sold at Ulta, so you can go online and use your $3.50 off coupon on it. I believe this is eligible for your $3.50 off. But this is just a beautiful palette. Once again, it has a great mix of warm neutrals and also some fun pops of color. Pretty much like I said with the BH Cosmetics palette, if you know someone who loves color or someone who's just kind of dipping their toes into color and into makeup, I think they would really love this palette. The formula on Juvia's Place eyeshadows is really beautiful. The mattes blend out almost effortlessly, and the shimmer shades are really intense and beautiful. But I do feel like the colorful shades are not so intense that they're like intimidating to work with. They're not hard to blend out. They're not hard to work with on your eyes. So this is another great budget option. Because this palette retails for $25. Here are a couple swatches from that palette. I took 2 from the colorful side and then 2 from the more neutral side. These are so beautiful, guys. This next palette that I'm recommending, I would specifically recommend if you are buying makeup for a beginner. And that is the Makeup Revolution, the Emily Edit The Wants palette. So she has a wants and a needs palette. I personally haven't tried the needs palette, but that would also be great for a makeup beginner because it has just kind of your basic products and basic staples that you'll need. But if you wanted to buy them an eyeshadow palette that wasn't just filled with boring neutral shades, this is the one to go with. So first of all, it comes with a gigantic mirror. So that's really awesome, but it comes with just a beautiful range of shades. Emily did such an amazing job choosing these shades. I just feel like even as a more experienced makeup user and makeup wearer, I am never going to like use all the color combos in this palette. There's always something new here that inspires me when I go to reach for this palette. And guys, this formula was made for beginners. The mattes are pigmented, but they're not like super duper pigmented like maybe the ABH shadows would be. They just apply a little bit more softly, and they are so easy to work with. This is a really no thought required palette. It's very user friendly, and kind of same thing with the shimmers. A couple of them are super duper creamy like Heartbeat or Top Story. Those are absolutely beautiful, but then there are also some that are softer like Eve Rose. I don't think I swatched these ones on my arm. I'll swatch those on my hand real quick, but this is just like, I could not think of a better palette for beginners. So here's some swatches. Like I said, you guys can tell that these colors just come off a little bit softer. They're not quite as intense as the other shadows, but I personally love that. I really don't mind kind of going in and building up these shadows a little bit. And I just think it would be absolutely perfect for a beginner. It really would not be intimidating or difficult for them to use. And that retails for $20, I believe, so that's also another great budget-friendly option. This next palette that I want to recommend has been my favorite for such a long time, and I think whoever you gifted this to would love it so much too, and that is the Jaclyn Hill palette. This is her original collaboration with Morphe. I didn't try the Jaclyn Hill, oh, what are they called? Like the mini ones that she came out with, the little bundle. I did not try those ones because there was so much controversy over the formula, and I love the formula on this palette so very much that I didn't even want to mess with those because I knew I was going to be disappointed. But this palette, again, like the Emily Edit palette, this is so beautifully thought out. There are so many different color combinations and color schemes that you can go with in this palette. You really do have your staple warm neutrals with like the first 3 rows right here, every kind of basic warm brown you might need. But then you do get some pops of color in the corner right here with this beautiful teal, the purple, the blue, oh, this green shade, you guys. I love this green. This is probably my favorite shade in the entire palette. But the formula on these is once again so beautiful. The mattes blend out so nicely and go on really nicely pigmented. Shimmers, same thing. I love this palette so much, and I feel like it's kind of gone into the background of like YouTube and social media because there are so many new palettes, but this is just, it's one of my favorites, guys, and I think this would be a great item to gift to someone in your life that loves makeup. Here's some swatches right there. There's that incredible green that I was telling you guys about. These ones are just, they're so good. Like, I get so excited every single time I open this palette, and I feel like that's what makeup should do for you. And this palette does retail for $38, I believe. $38 or $39. So it's kind of between affordable and high-end prices. So this next palette really is not as generalized as the other palettes that I mentioned. I feel like you could gift those to a wide variety of people and they would absolutely love them. This palette is specifically for the makeup lover in your life, the person that loves to experiment with their makeup and kind of experiment with color a little bit, not so much like super bright colors, but just color in general, and that is the Colourpop Good Sport palette. So you guys know I've already mentioned 2 Colourpop palettes. You guys probably know I love the formula of these, and I just think the color scheme in this palette is just, it's to die for. I love it so much. This palette was out for about a month before I actually took the plunge and purchased it because I just could not get it out of my head, and I am so glad that I did. These shades are so beautiful, and the Colourpop formula is absolutely amazing. I just feel like this does not look like a lot of the palettes on the market, and that makes it really unique and just kind of something different for the makeup community. And I just feel like any makeup lover in your life would absolutely love this palette so much. Like, look at these shades, guys. Look at them. How beautiful. Like, oh my goodness, so beautiful. And like all the other Colourpop palettes, that one retails for $16. I don't think that one is available at Ulta, so you're definitely gonna have to order that from the Colourpop website, but the other 2 that I mentioned are available at Ulta, so if your Ulta carries Colourpop or if you're placing an online order, you can scoop them up there and use your coupon. I do have one super duper quick honorable mention because I feel like this video is already super long, but that is the Colourpop Brown Sugar palette. Now this is a collaboration with Karuche. I believe that's how you say her name. I don't actually follow her on social media, but I didn't like feel any way towards this palette when I saw the preview pictures, when I saw swatches, and then my cousin got it and I used it and I was like blown away by this palette. The quality on this palette is unreal, you guys, and look how beautiful these colors are. These are beautiful every single day colors. So once again, if you have maybe a beginner or someone who spends a lot of their time in an office setting and they need their makeup to be more like toned down and more office appropriate, I think this is an amazing palette. I don't think it has every single shade I wish it did. I really wish it had kind of a matte cream shade. This one's a little bit too dark to kind of set down my lid. And then a little bit of a brighter highlighty shade than this one because that one's a little bit dark and it doesn't really highlight on me. But otherwise, this is an amazing, amazing palette. And this one is only $12, guys. And it has a great mirror. Like, what more could you want in a palette? So that is actually going to wrap up this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that I helped you kind of make some holiday buying decisions. I know that I love shopping for the holidays. I love gifting people makeup because it's what I love, and I know that what I'm giving them is just super awesome, and I really just hope that they enjoy it as much as I do. Yeah, so let me know down below what you guys are buying for people for Christmas. Are you buying them makeup? Are you buying them something else? Let me know down below. I'm interested to know because I need some gift ideas for my friends and family. So thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!